The last one in this chunk from Waste Resources is Dr. Suvidha Gupta. She's from the Marie Curie. She's a Marie Curie Individual Fellow, and she's going to give us some insight into upgrading wastewater for the production of bio-based chemicals.
Good afternoon, everyone. And so here I'm going to tell how the wastewater can be a valuable resource. So basically, wastewater is an undesirable byproduct of human activities that are arising from various daily practices like from agricultural, from industry, from domestic. It can arise from various processes. There are wastewater treatment plants, but they constitute a significant portion of the energy intensive process which is related to the management of these wastewater. But these wastewater can be a valuable resource if it is utilized properly. For example, if you see the characteristics of the wastewater, so wastewater contains a lot of solids, lot of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, heavy metals. So if one can recover these components and that can be converted into the valuable chemicals. So the thing is, if we are going to discharge these wastewater into the aquatic environment, so this can lead to the eutrophication of the water bodies. Similarly, it can affect the terrestrial ecosystem as well. So that's why its treatment is very much necessary. But if we can recover some resources as well, then it is an added advantage. So the thing is, if you see, I'll just show you some examples of industrial wastewater. So it can arise from multiple industries like paper and pulp, like dairy, textile, and so on, as you can see here. But the volume is obviously vary from one industry to other industry depending on the process used, depending on the operational things. So if you see the amount of the wastewater generation in the world, so you can imagine how it is important to treat and how it is important to convert into the valuable resources. So if you see just for example, for the cassava processing wastewater, when 142 million tons of the raw material was processed in 2018, so it generated 85 billion liters of wastewater. Similarly, for the cheese, when 21.5 million tons of raw material was processed, then it generated 158 billion liters of wastewater. So this way we can see how much wastewater generation is there and how much it is important to treat it. Now the thing is how we can do it, how we can convert the wastewater into the valuable resources. So here is the thing. The thing is microbial based green technology. So this is the technology that we can use for the wastewater treatment. Basically what we need to do with this technology is to grow the microorganism, for example, microalgae, fungus, bacteria, protozoa, any kind of microorganism one can grow in this wastewater. After a certain period, we can get the treated water which can be used for the multiple purposes. And after this, we can generate the microbial biomass. For example, I'll show you the example here for the microalgae biomass. So after that, the microalgae biomass will be rich with lipid, protein, and carbohydrate. And these part can be used for the production of various bio-based chemicals, like I'll show you in the next slides. So first the thing is why I'm showing the microalgae, and then what is the advantage of using microalgae for the production of bio-based chemical. So if you see, basically microalgae are tiny photosynthetic organism which have various advantages, like it has microalgae is fast growing, it has a higher lipid accumulation capacity, microalgae can provide higher productivity than the terrestrial plants. Also, because microalgae can utilize both inorganic as well as organic carbon, that's why microalgae cultivation can be combined with the wastewater treatment. And also, if you are using microalgae, the flue gas, which is containing a lot of CO2, microalgae can also absorb that. So it's an added advantage of using microalgae for the wastewater treatment. After the treatment, the microalgae biomass will be rich with carbohydrate, approximately 30 to 60%, that can be converted into the bioethanol or biobutanol. Then lipid part can be transesterified into the biodiesel, and protein has a food application. In addition to that, there are various other applications of microalgae as well. For example, microalgae is rich source of omega fatty acids, which is like omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. So this can be used for the nutraceuticals and pharmaceutical application. One can extract the PHA, polyhydroxyalkanoate, from the microalgae, and that can be converted into the bioplastics. In addition to that, there are few strains like spirulina and chlorella, which are rich with protein, so that part can be used for the food application. So someone who wants to be vegetarian, and then this is the good option to go with this. So in addition to wastewater treatment and biofuel application, there are multiple applications of microalgae. So here I'll just show you the example how one can convert the microalgae to renewable fuels and then the chemicals. So the first step will be to cultivate the microalgae in the wastewater. Then the second step will be the harvesting of the microalgae biomass. There are multiple methods, for example, centrifugation, for example, sedimentation or flocculation. So according to interest and according to need, one can choose which one is the best one for them. And then after harvesting, the sugar can be extracted from the microalgae biomass, either acidic method or enzymatic method or alkaline method, and then through the process of fermentation, it can be converted into the bio-based organic acids. So for example, these are just an example of bio-based organic acid that can be converted from the carbohydrate part of the microalgae. For example, these are the succinic acid, lactic acid, itaconic acid, aspartic acid, malic acid, and there are many more as well. So after this, the biomass is rich with lipid. Lipid-rich biomass will be there, so lipid can be extracted from the remaining biomass, and then it can be transesterified into the biodiesel. So this is the general overview how one can convert the microalgae to fuels and chemicals. Now I'll show you the example, like importance of bio-based organic acid. So basically, these are the platform chemicals which are listed by the US Department of Energy as one of the top industrial chemical that can be converted into the various other important chemicals. So for example, if you see the normal process for the production of succinic acid, so the process is the petroleum based, like the chemical based, where one can convert the petroleum into the malic anhydride, and then through the chemical process, it can be converted into the succinic acid. This is the currently existing process. But here the problem is this process release a lot of CO2 also, and the process is chemical. But if we can replace the petroleum-based, chemical-based process with the bio-based, so here in the process of fermentation, the bacteria consume CO2, so we can save CO2 emission as well here, and then the succinic, like the bio-based organic acids, can be produced like via green method. And then this can be converted into the various derivatives like 1,4-butanediol or tetrahydrofuran, which has application in plasticizers, in solvents and lubricants. So with this aim, I decided like to work on wastewater, to upgrade the wastewater into the bio-based chemicals, and I choose the dairy wastewater. Now the thing is why I choose the dairy wastewater for my study, because the EU is the second largest producer of the milk in the world, and if you see for like the wastewater generation, so it is approximately 0.2 to 10 liter of wastewater generation is there per liter, while we process 1 per liter of milk. So the amount of wastewater generation is huge that needs treatment. So that's why I choose this wastewater, and here is the composition of the wastewater that I used in my study. So COD was 952 mg per liter, and nitrogen and phosphorus was 8.85 and 3.4 mg per liter. So to treat this wastewater and to recover the component, I designed a microalgae consortia, which was consist of small cell microalgae with the filamentous one. Now the thing was why I choose why I developed the consortia. So basically, if we are working on the microalgae, so because of the small size, it is difficult to harvest the culture in the small scale. Yeah, obviously in lab scale we can use centrifugation, but still if you go on the large scale, it is difficult to use centrifugation or this kind of energy intensive method. So here in my consortia, the big algae like filamentous one can trap the smaller one, and then all the biomass can settle down through the sedimentation, and one can recover the biomass easily without the need of any energy intensive method or an energy intensive process. So with this consortia, I grown in the dairy wastewater for 15 days, and then I was able to remove the pollutants more than 85%, and also the pollutant removal was up to the within the discharge limit. And also I got the harvesting efficiency of 78% of the biomass. Then I checked the carbohydrate and lipid and protein content as well. So my biomass, which was grown in wastewater, was rich with sugar. As you can see, the carbohydrate content was 53%, and then the lipid was 13%, and protein was 12%. So now in the next step, I'm converting this sugar and lipid into the bio-based organic acid and the biodiesel. So yeah, that's about my work, and if someone wants to connect it, someone wants to know more about the project, please connect me, and thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. Which countries would you think would be able to use your research to the best effect?
The wastewater generation is all over the world, so all of the countries can adapt the practice. So
both countries in the north and countries in the south?
Yeah, anyone in the world. It's not a country specific, it's the worldwide thing.
Okay, so next we take Berlin and the rest of the world. That's good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.